So we're in an interesting spot now where iOS 16 was probably one of those software versions which has differentiated so many different iPhone models from older to newer ones. There are so many features that are only for specific models. I don't understand why they did this. This is pretty crazy. So I want to hit on basically all the iPhone features for the most part that your iPhone and your older iPhones may not be getting. Now, if you have the iPhone 13s, you're pretty much getting all these features. But even going down to the iPhone 12s, they already differentiated features, which is pretty crazy. Now, shout out to 9 to 5 Mac for making this article yesterday. I think it was pretty good. I did hit on a lot of stuff the other day, but essentially with the iPhone 10, 8, and 8 Plus, we are already getting a ton of limited features. First of all, there's no landscape Face ID, which I think is pretty much there for pretty much all the devices out there, but there is no landscape Face ID. That was the first thing I wanted to say, pretty crazy. There's no live text. There's no sending emojis within Siri. There's really almost no Siri improvements for the iPhone 10, at least for the most part. You cannot hang up calls. You cannot, send emojis with text. However, it may look like Apple actually probably didn't exclude this from the iPhone 10 because it's a call, hang up call. It actually tells me that there's no call to hang up. Most of the time, it will go ahead. The times that I did yesterday, it actually told me that there was no call to hang up. So because of that, it probably tells me that Apple forgot to, not give it to this specific iPhone. There's no typing with dictation either. So if you wanted to go ahead and type, with dictation, this is another thing Apple kind of mentioned within the keynote. We can't type while we're dictating, which is very interesting because they mentioned that quite a bit. Also, there's no way to add medications within the camera application. This may be because we don't have live, text enabled within the specific device, but we cannot add, medications within our iPhones either, which is very interesting. And we cannot lift subjects from the background of photos either. This was another thing Apple spent a lot of time talking about, and we cannot do that within iOS 16, which is very weird. Now, those are just what's unsupported with these iPhones. Those are a majority of the features that are unsupported. Now, when we look at something like the iPhone XS, for some reason, my iPhone XS is not turning on, but there are also some features that are excluded with this specific iPhone, which is very interesting. Particularly, there's no live captions, so you cannot go ahead and unlock live captions with your specific iPhone, even though you can do live text and other things like that. Also, just like these iPhones, there's no landscape Face ID. So if you wanted to use Face ID within landscape mode, you cannot do that either, which is very, very interesting for them to go ahead and do that. Now, stepping away for a second, if we go and look at a device like the iPhone 11, personally, this is one of my favorite iPhones. I think this thing still holds up extremely well, and it is probably easily one of the best iPhones out there. However, there are still some features within the iPhone, within iOS 16, that did not come and be ported over to these specific iPhones. Now, there's no foreground blur in portrait photos. So essentially, it allowed you to go ahead and get, a better blur. That is not available on the iPhone 11. And also, there was no improved quality within, and honestly, there were some other camera improvements that did not get ported over to the iPhone 11 either. Now, this is still a very good iPhone. I'm talking about the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro series as well. These are a tremendous set of iPhones. I like these iPhones a lot. This, as well as the iPhone 11 Pro, are some of my favorite iPhones. This, as well as the iPhone 11 Pro, are some of my favorite iPhones. But it's very interesting that this specific version of software, Apple is limiting it like crazy for every single generation of devices. We haven't really seen a version of this software like this. I think the last time I can remember something like this was probably like iOS 12, when Apple did not give the iPhone 6 and iPhone 5s group FaceTime, when they could have easily supported it. But honestly, I will be curious to see what Apple does in the future. Hopefully they end up porting some of these features over in the future, but that kind of covers it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.